Hey everybody, got a brand new first look sneak peek at a new model coming out from RPod. This thing just might turn some heads. Hello, welcome everybody. Josh RVer to Bish's RV down here at Forest River today. They said, we got a new one coming out. You folks keep saying you want more RPods. We're going to give you the very newest one there is. The 185, I think it's called. I feel like I've seen, it reminds me of bits and pieces of some of the RPods I've seen, but never quite exactly in this combination. It is one of the largest single axle models they make, but if you don't prefer the single axle towing aspect of this, they make plenty of tandem axle models that have some similar floor plan elements, but that's what's kind of crazy about this one. They gave us something a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, that still has, I think, a pretty good kitchen, a nice bathroom, very respectable living space. I love that inside-outside food truck pass-through window over on the camp side of the RV. A true queen bed in the front, but it's a single axle with an east-west bed, and I think that those are probably going to be the two main sticking points on this camper, but that also means it's a little bit smaller and lighter. Now, when I saw they had this thing, it weighs a little bit more than most of the other single axles because it does have a slide. I thought the cargo capacity was going to be a joke. It's still over 1,500 pounds, which is more than some luxury fifth wheels that I've seen, if you can believe that. So I think it's still perfectly adequate for what we're getting into here. We've got ASDL below the sidewalls, tire pressure monitoring, 200-watt factory solar package, heated enclosed belly. The dual propane tanks on the single axle is not an impossible find, but it is less common, certainly. The outdoor grill station going on this one right here. Even the stovetop has an exterior exhaust vent hood, so if you are cooking inside, you're not steaming yourself out of the thing. It doesn't have a propane oven. You have a propane outside cooker, just choked on thin air. We have a propane stovetop inside. You have a 3-in-1 electric oven on the interior, but also things like a central vacuum system, the larger bathroom vent fan, even not a true theater seat, but kind of kick-out incliners for a simulated cinema seat, if you will. I'm really curious to know what you think about this thing. I have a feeling this thing's either going to soar or crash. And as we go, I'd love to hear, what do you think of it? So I thought I'd begin this one actually from like the position of the sofa, the lounge area right here. If you are inside, this is probably where you're sitting, unless you're over there at that awesome little campsite overlook dining bar. You know, what's it look like from the driver's seat? One of the things you don't like, you see that it's got some campsite window coverage from the outside, but when you sit indoors, you realize your total field of view is actually really good and really effective here. Now, this is a smaller single axle model. It's one of the largest single axles that RPod makes, but it's not a tandem axle with a north-south bed. If my eyes are not mistaken, though, that is still a 60 by 80 true queen. So if you want to replace that with any residential bed, that could work for you. A lot of people say, don't want to climb over each other at night. I 1000% respect that. That's why I'm pointing out the whole east-west queen bed kind of concept here. If you're like, why didn't they make it a few feet longer on a tandem axle with a north-south bed? That's a totally different floor plan that they already make. This is intended to be something different. The headboard here, I love that they just, you can tell somebody who builds these has camped, including just a simple cup holder and like a place to charge your phone. It doesn't have to be the most over-the-top ingenuity kind of situation. It's just gotta work, you know? And this one, it just works. This is a non-centrally ducted air conditioner, I'm noticing, so that will mean that your bathroom might get a little bit warmer than the rest of the RV, but I think I got a way to kind of work around that a little bit. That is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner, though. I would kind of like it. I don't even know how well it's reading on camera because my camera tends to sort of brighten up dark areas automatically. I'd like it if there was one light at the top of that slide box right there. I just don't like dark zones in RVs. And this floor plan does have a smaller, lighter, shallow slide. So that's not a true theater seat. Some of the RPods have this really crafty step-up slide with a true theater seat. This is not one. It is a jackknife sofa with the dual little cup holder swivel stands and a couple kick-out incliners. But if you notice, you see that little shelf right there? That's actually the floor of the slide. The whole slide is above it's above the wheel well. That's why it doesn't go all the way to the floor. That's why a true theater seat's not possible here. But again, they make other models that do those little things if that's your preference. Something else that's kind of nice, like the window coverage can be great, But if the sun is shining or if the neighbor is being nosy, well, the good news is you can close all that down, privatize that. And that front windshield is actually a dual pane Euro style window. It has significantly better thermal vectors as compared to conventional window glass. Now, what do you think of this storage pocket down here? Part of me respects the fact that they fully enclosed it with cabinet doors. Part of me is kind of interested in the idea of this being open air or having like a couple totes or something under there. I don't know. What do you think of this whole area right here? I could see it going either way. I can see positives and negatives of it either way. I've pulled those little director's chairs out of the way for a moment so you can see all the little storage that does exist down in that area, although my shoes are slipping on this clean floor and I'm having a hard time standing up. That pivoting TV, by the way, that is a 12-volt compressor fridge, so just kind of keep that in mind. Working our way back, you can see those little director's chairs. I'll get those out of the way in just a second. I just had to slide them real fast. You do have yourself a larger 10 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge over here, but something that's easy to miss is you also have a really solid kitchen pantry space right there, but it's kind of around the corner where it starts to feel, because it's sunken back a little bit, it almost feels a little bit like it's in the living room, but I think that's obviously intended to be your primary pantry application, as it were. Let me get those chairs moved. Now, this rear kitchen is really smart, really effective. It's definitely a one-butt kitchen. It's not a kitchen that's going to be great for two people kind of bopping around. You're going to drive each other absolutely bonkers if you try to do that. And on camera, just with the way the doors open, like from one direction versus another, it makes it a little bit tricky to kind of try to showcase everything for you. So I'm going to have to do a lot of the sweep and slow storage footage like I tend to do right here. I would like it if that shelf directly below the sink maybe wasn't there so I'd have a spot for a wastebasket. I'm always looking for a handy little wastebasket space in a camper. And some people think I have this like weird obsession with it, but you're going to use the trash can every single day you go camping. It's nice to have a spot for one. And it's kind of a dog leg left around the corner situation. I'm actually going to stick the camera in the cabinet so that you can see you do have storage all the way to the rear sidewall, but you might need some long arms to kind of reach back there. Go Gadget arms. Dude, I was a massive, oh my Lord. I loved Inspector Gadget as a kid. That was my show, guys. Inspector Gadget, Thundercats, all that stuff. Voltron, Defender of the Universe. Don't go back and watch Inspector Gadget now that you're an adult. It'll break your heart. It's terrible. I do still love that theme song, though, you know? Sorry. Apparently I really felt the need to relive my childhood days. Next, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you. Moving our way around the corner over here. Which way do we want to start? Let's start with the shower. It is a rectangular shower. It's not the largest, but it's, you know, the RV is trying to give you enough space without being too awfully large wherever they can kind of get away with it. It is one of those retractable shower doors. I'm a little over 6 foot tall, plus thick-soled shoes and a hat. My head's all the way up in that bubble. So if you're about 6 foot or more, your head's going to be in the skylight. Just going to be. No other way really around it. Big XL vent fan in here, though, is always a nice find. And something else that's cool. This medicine cabinet, if I open this up, the mirror is much, much bigger than the medicine cabinet. So you feel like you've been kind of cheated, but they used this part really smartly. It's a toothbrush holder. And I forget to show that on the back of the mirror all the time. So when you have toothbrushes in it, you're going to see toothbrush sticks sticking down, but they're not going to be in the way of anything. It's functional. It's very smart, very functional, actually. Toilet is fairly tight. It is not the fluffiest, friendliest kind of bathroom here, but I can make do. You know, for a little weekend in the camper, a little weekend getaway, I can make that work. I would kind of like it if they added a little bit of a linen cabinet in that rear corner over there, but I do appreciate the towel hangers right there. One of the other cool things about this floor plan is it has fantastic traveling access. Frankly, it checks all the big boxes, including the bonus ones. So even closing the slide, you can very comfortably walk through here. You know, if you make an overnight travel stop, You can hop in that bed right there, start snoozing, wake up, roll over, get to the bathroom, get to the kitchen, and I'm going to slowly pivot you over here to the right because the dining situation is not located in a slide out, and I just fell backwards on the bed. Hopefully that wasn't too much movement for you. Sorry, guys. You can sit here and have a bite to eat. Oh, the outlets would make just enough of a laptop station. I'm not calling this a full-on business desk. It's not, but a little bit of a laptop station. I can see where, and we can walk right past. We can get to our kitchen. We can get to our bathroom. So sleeping, dining, bathroom, and what else? Kitchen, yeah, eating. They're all covered for travel mode on this one. If you appreciate the road mode and the storage access, hit the subscribe button. I can't talk. I'm gonna go get caffeinated. Bye. Now for towing factors, the RV itself weighs about 4,000 pounds, but it has about a just under 5,700 pound gross vehicle weight. And that's really important to understand because there's going to be a lot of people who have a 5,000 pound tow rated vehicle. And a lot of people at a lot of dealerships are going to try to tell you, yep, you can tow this one just fine. I'm personally not of that belief because your gross vehicle weight, your total load with max cargo could exceed that 5K tow rating. But if you've got like at least a 6,000 pound rating, especially you start getting up to 65, 7,000, you get those bigger tow package SUVs, the more capable mid-size pickups, you don't even necessarily need to go half ton, and you can still have an RV with a true queen bed, a nice place to kick your feet up, the cool little dining bar, food truck window action, a respectable kitchen and bathroom without having to go necessarily totally broke on a new vehicle to do it. Now, working our way up front here, as I'm stalling for time to get close to this baggage door, I'll mention that we do have Asdel composite layering below the fiberglass. We also have a nice full front pass-through compartment here. The USB charging plugs in the upper right corner of that pass-through view that we're looking at right now, very, very handy if you prefer to use something like a Bluetooth outdoor speaker as compared to the surface-mounted speakers that you see on the sidewall of this camper. Some people like speakers built right onto the RV. They don't want to have to worry about bringing another object with them. I personally am not a fan of them. I just don't think they sound good. I'd rather just use my own portable Bluetooth and keep the sound localized to me, essentially. You know what I haven't been doing on a lot of my RPods recently is I have not been showcasing the awning space. Let's rectify that right about now. Considering the size of the RV, I think the awning is about as good as you could have really hoped for. The front bed window and the baggage door and the curvature of the nose prevent the awning from being any bigger, so they put the biggest one on it they essentially possibly could. I did notice you're going to want to be careful of this. I have made these mistakes, so please learn before you make the mistake I've made in the past. You've got to be careful when you have an awning arm next to a door like this, because if you hit that sucker sideways, this is going to bust. Awning arms are designed to take weight vertically like rainwater, not horizontally. Or if you have this door pushed all the way open and then retract the awning, that sleeve can actually catch this right here and bust stuff up. Ask me how I know. I unfortunately learned a couple $100 worth of lessons that way, the hard way, and hopefully I can help you avoid that. So a little pro tip there from your Uncle Josh. I'm kind of that uncle who's going to teach you what to do by telling you not to follow my example. Now, an important thing on these RPods, they're riding on a different chassis from the vast majority of the RV industry. This is not your traditional Lippert I-beam frame. This is a Norco huck-bolted chassis. It's a Z-frame, effectively, made with high-strength, low-alloy steel, HSLA. None of that probably means much to you. What it basically means is that it's lighter weight, but the same strength and rigidity. Now, the body of this RV is 7.5 foot wide, but you see the fender flare? The axle's still a standard 8 foot wide. When the axle's a little wider than the body of the camper, things tend to tow a little nicer and a little more stably. Why doesn't that sound like a word but feels like it should be? I don't know. Moving on. The outdoor griddle station and a hot-cold outside utility sprayer, all standard there, which is kind of nice. Backing our way up a little bit, that awning does have a little bit of a rainy day tilt, but if it is a hard driving rain or wind, make sure you put that thing away. There's some people, they just seem hell-bent on election. They're like, well, I just want to strap my awning down. I don't want to have to put it in and out. Well, I don't feel like dealing with an insurance claim after a windstorm and potentially busting up my camper. It just, for me, The juice just ain't worth the squeeze. I'd rather just push the button and roll it up myself. But everyone, hey, they have their own little adventure and journey. Now, this does have a singular sewer outlet, so you don't have to do the poop scoop boogie, moving hoses between different hookups and whatnot. That is a Schwintek slide system, by the way. Some folks like to know the type of slide. You might notice it is very small, and it's just a sofa. It's not super deep. It's not very heavy. This is exactly how Schwintek systems were always intended to be used. Unfortunately, RV designers used them in ways they weren't supposed to and caused a lot of problems. Now, I noticed too, you got to be careful of this on these shallow slides. This seal did not get fully wiped out, which means it may not be preventing water intrusion the way it's supposed to. So when you open your slide and you're setting up on your camping trip, make sure you do a quick walk over eyeball and check that. We're getting all kinds of little handy dandy pro tips on this one right here, because one of my goals is to help you make sure after you purchase the RV, you continue to have a good time and don't have to spend a bunch of time in a repair center. That, to me, is an ideal scenario. It does have a 200-watt solar panel up on the roof next to that 15,000 BTU air conditioner. The underbelly is enclosed. It is forced air heated. The Hood River Western editions actually do have holding tank heat pads and a little bit different tire setup. They will all have that 60,000 BTU on-demand water heater, though. So, as long as basically you've got the tank capacity left, you got water available, and you got propane to run that water heater, you can take yourself some hot showers. So thanks again for tuning in. Again, if you prefer, if you're like, I want to walk around bed, or if they built it longer and had tandem axles, I would like it. Take a look at the links in the video description. RPod makes other models like that. This is intended to be a missing link within their lineup. Just some of the models were too small, some were too large. This is the mama bear right in the middle between Papa and Baby. I'll leave you some links in the description to check those videos, to check pricing and availability on one of these. And in the meantime, if you appreciate how we tear this thing inside and out, upside down, and in between apart to show you inside and everything, even the cabinets, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.